The Gaza war has been a long-standing conflict with both Israelis and Palestinians suffering devastating losses. But have you ever wondered why the mainstream media coverage seems so one-sided? Many argue that the mainstream media has been complicit in manipulating the narrative, favoring the Israeli perspective while ignoring or downplaying the Palestinian experience. The coverage of this war in mainstream Western media has been problematic, raising questions about the accuracy and fairness of the reporting. According to a review by the Al Jazeera Media Institute, several factors have impacted the journalistic coverage of the Gaza war. These include media routines, organizational policies, and social systems. The mainstream media has a history of being influenced by powerful interests, including governments and corporations. In the case of the Gaza war, this influence has resulted in a distorted narrative that ignores the Palestinian perspective. A disturbing trend has emerged in mainstream media's coverage of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. A recent incident highlights this blind spot. Israel recently released Palestinian hostages in critical condition. This shocking incident raises questions about Israel's treatment of Palestinian prisoners and the media's failure to hold them accountable. The released hostages were hospitalized due to severe injuries and mistreatment while in Israeli custody. Human rights groups have condemned Israel's actions, citing violations of international law. However, mainstream media outlets have largely ignored this story or downplayed its significance. This omission perpetuates a broader pattern of bias in media coverage of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. An analysis by The Intercept revealed that CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News provided skewed reports during the first months of the Gaza war. Major newspapers like the New York Times, Washington Post, and Los Angeles Times favored the Israeli side, exhibiting consistent bias against Palestinians. By neglecting to report on Israel's mistreatment of Palestinian prisoners, mainstream media fails to provide a comprehensive understanding of the conflict. This lack of accountability enables human rights abuses to continue unchecked. The blind spot in mainstream media's coverage of Israel's treatment of Palestinian prisoners is alarming. It's crucial that we demand more accurate and comprehensive reporting to ensure accountability and promote human rights. The biased coverage has resulted in the daily suffering of Palestinians being largely ignored. The lack of historical context and humanization of Palestinian victims has perpetuated a skewed public perception of the conflict. The Gaza war is not just about a conflict between Israelis and Palestinians. It's also a battle for control of the narrative. Some notable Palestinian journalists expressed their sentiments about how the mainstream media ignores or distorts Palestinian stories, saying that they're not just victims but also agents of change fighting for their rights and freedom. The manipulation of the narrative is a powerful tool in the Gaza war. But it's up to us to seek out the truth and to amplify the voices of those who are often ignored or silenced. I am Lovely Montoya of Manila STV.